dog on your balls.
Not what it looks like.
The whole point about Kick-Ass 1 was it was trying to create a new franchise in a postmodern, sort of rebellious manner. And if it was successful, yeah, we always wanted to do a sequel.
We knew Kick-Ass 2 was going to happen really as soon as the first one came out, because the movie was actually very modestly budgeted. And I planned it as 3 books, you know, so the plan was always a trilogy of movies as well as comic books.
When something you work on gets the attention it does, whether it's pop culture or whether it's as a publishing item, there's always a satisfaction about it. But with Kick-Ass, there is such a flattery because it became the film, and that was my first time being involved with something that became a film.
I became involved with Kick-Ass 2 when I met Matthew Vaughn. We were talking about a different project actually at a different studio, a comic book movie, and we really hit it off.
Jeff, he pitched me Bloodshot, another comic, and he did the pitch. The pitch was pretty damn impressive, and then the script came in and it was exactly what his pitch was, which in Hollywood is a very rare thing of people saying, I'm going to do A and delivering A.
He said, you wrote exactly what you said you were going to write. And I said, well, yeah, that's what I do. He said, I really like that. I said, great. And then he said, would you be interested in doing Kick-Ass 2? And I said, absolutely.
I think Jeff has a really strong visual sense, and he has a kind of, whatever, a style as a director. You know, he's not just there to, whatever, get us through the day. You know, he has a really strong idea of the movie that he wants to make.
I actually wrote it without a deal. I just sat down and wrote the script. I have to say how much I respect Mark and all his work, and how much I enjoyed the Kick-Ass 2 comic books. And so what I did was I took Mark's scripts, because the comic books weren't even done at that point, and I wrote a movie based on those scripts. My big idea from the beginning, I think, was just this notion that Dave and Mindy and Chris still didn't know who they really were yet. That in the first film, they created these alter egos. They had these alter egos, Kick-Ass, Hit Girl, Red Mist, but they still hadn't answered that larger question, that question that we all ask ourselves, who am I really? And what's my place in this world, and what am I gonna do with my life? And it's one thing to try to be someone else, to be a superhero, but who am I in my core, right?
I'm very flattered, you know, he's used a lot of stuff from the book, because that doesn't always happen. Jeff's been very faithful to it, which is lovely, but I mean, my primary thing is I just want it to be good.
To Mark's credit, one of the first things he said to me is that he acknowledged a comic book and a movie are very different animals. And he said, don't literally adapt my comic book, because if you literally adapt my comic book, you're gonna end up with a movie that might not be that great, because we all know the movies out there that were literal adaptations of comic books that didn't turn out that well. So he said, you know, you've gotta make your movie. I wrote it to direct it. I wasn't gonna let anyone else direct it. And you know, that's sort of the upside of taking on that risk of just writing the script without a deal. And I sent it to Matthew, and he was like, well, you wrote it. And I was like, yeah. I had some time, and I just decided to do it.
You know, it was a very weird decision to hand this over to a director. I mean, it's a really tough one, and I thought, you know, I have to find the right director that is hungry, but got some experience and passionate. And also I like writer-directors, because it means that they can bother writing the screenplay, I know what's in their head, because sometimes, you know, you can have a great script and you hire a director and they do something totally different with it and you're screwed. So I thought he deserved a break.
Matthew's so critical of absolutely everyone that if he's actually telling you somebody's good, then the guy must be really good, you know? So I felt quite relaxed. I thought if Vaughn likes him, he's probably great, you know?
It's actually sort of a surreal experience making this movie, because I'm making the movie with the cast from the first film, the crew from the first film, in the same country that they shot the first film, with a lot of similar elements and locations. And really the only thing new about it is me.
It was pretty overwhelming to kind of take all in, you know. It moved pretty fast, you know. It just needed me, Chloe and Chris to say yes.
Working with Jeff has been really, really amazing. It's great to kind of have a new, fresh kind of input on the characters and in the script because, you know, you have someone who's a huge fanboy of the first one, and so all those fanboys out there going, oh my God, I wonder what the second one's gonna be like. He wrote the script of what you're gonna wanna see in the second one.
I was nervous at first because this was Matthew's baby, and I had many phone calls with Matthew, like, you know, telling him, like, I want you to do this. Like, you created the first one, you should do all three of these, you know, or this one if there's a third one. This is your baby. I don't want anyone else to mess it up, you know, or, and he kept telling me, he's like, this guy's great, don't worry, I'm gonna be watching all the dailies, I'm gonna be behind it. And so I met with Jeff, and he seemed really passionate about the project.
That was fantastic. Great work, man. We got that, that's great.
I think we got along really well. I mean, I've done some really great stuff with him and I enjoyed every day working with him. And yeah, he's always got a smile on his face, always got bouncy energy. He's just excited, you know? He's like, yeah, man, like, I remember we first got the kick-ass suit and he was like, he was just so thrilled. Like, it was like, we were doing the... Whereas I was like, oh, God, man, fucking, remember this fucking suit? Oh, you know, he's just like, this is good, this is the moment, let's go! Oh, okay. He's a team leader, man. He really brought it together. He's brave. He took a leap and brought us something really incredible.
Look at their faces. It's fucking money. Yes. Let's get what are we on there? 27. I want a nice close-up of Olga.
Hit with the open palm and pivot. Open palm and pivot.
Knockout, bitch!
One of the things that Matthew has always said is that a film is much easier if you cast it right. And I think we were very lucky in that we cast it right first time round.
Even though it's only 3 years since we were all together on a set before and 2 years since that movie came out, people's lives are in quite different places, you know. Like, you know, everybody's kind of grown up, you know.
Aaron, when I first met him, he was kind of this rambunctious kid, you know? He was this young kind of Londoner. And then now I see him again, he's this, you know, very put together young man.
We shoot these in England for some reason. And so it's just like, it's just kind of bizarre to be back over here and like see pretty much all the same crew. And I mean, even like, you know, Aaron, I really haven't seen very much since the movie came out.
And action! Justice forever!
Glad you got that out of your system.
I'm just happy to see these characters back again. It's just fucking fun and entertaining, and you know, it's like we just sort of played around like and had fun with it.
To be actually here in the costume again, doing all the stunts and everything, it's pretty amazing.
The motherfuckers.
Hopefully in the next one we'll be out of high school because I'm gonna be probably about 30. I mean, Chris already has like a goatee in this one.
Oh, baby.
It's supposed to be like 17.
Suck that dick. All right, let's shoot it.
Great thing about doing the sequel, people who love the first one have all kind of stepped forward to kind of be a part of it, you know?
Taking into consideration possible new members and other criteria, I thought this could be our meeting room. I know it's not much, but this is just the beginning. Together we can make a real difference.
Jim Carrey's Colonel Stars and Stripes. I mean, wild card, I don't think really begins to describe it.
We were very lucky. Jim Carrey is a fan of the first movie. I think he was on Conan O'Brien dressed as Kick-Ass a few years ago.
Anybody out here?
When we started gearing up for Kick-Ass 2, you know, we got this slightly surreal phone call that, you know, Jim Carrey would like to be in your movie. And if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, the person who called was legit, you'd be like, yeah, right, okay, cheers, goodbye.
When we were talking about actors to play the part, you know, we were sort of guessing an age range. I said, look, the guy could be in his 20s, he could be in his 70s. You know, it's all about an actor coming in with a take and doing something unexpected, and that is absolutely what Jim Carrey did.
And away we go!
Sweet Jesus.
Battle guy, what did I tell you about using the lowest name in the city?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
All right. Sorry, I'm adrenalized right now.
You know, from the prosthetics to, you know, what he did with his teeth and the way he carried himself and the way he sort of transformed his body and the way he moved.
Perfect. There you go.
He just crafted this character that I think is not at all what people are going to expect, either from Jim Carrey or from the Colonel.
See my foot?
Game over.
Come right here. Grab the head. Hit him with the elbow. Come up to me. And then you fucking hit him with the no! You're in with the headbutt.
So face him, Jim. And
Do you know what? Fucking Carrey just brought the right amount of kookiness that Nick Cage had in the first one.
Uh-oh, somebody's coming up behind you. Look out!
When we were in our costumes and like Carrey's just like bouncing off and just improv and his energy is so raised up that we're all up there, you know?
What did you say? Justice forever.
He was inspirational and it was brilliant to work with, man. You know, he'd throw out jokes just before you're about to do a take, and so you'd be like tearing up with, you know, trying to hold back tears. It'd be funny.
I'm here to end Kick-Ass, not just kill him. I am gonna shit on everything he loves. Whoa, boy. Jim Carrey is like the 90s for me. So if you would have asked 13-year-old Christopher Minц-Plasс if he got to choke Jim Carrey 10 years later, he would shit his pants. Like, it was a very surreal, amazing moment for me to act opposite him.
Used to hang with some real losers.
Is this how you thought you'd die, Sal? And he was like, come on, get into it. He's like telling me to choke him harder, which is like, amazing.
Who are you supposed to be?
I'm the motherfucker. And I'm here to end Kick-Ass. Not just kill him, I am gonna shit on everything that he loves. It's kind of like you're the Alfred to my evil Bruce Wayne, if you will.
Did you just call me your butler?
John Leguizamo is such a gifted actor, and I really feel fortunate that he's a part of it. It's amazing how many great actors we have in this movie, right?
I love the first one. I love Kick-Ass, and I just couldn't wait to be a part of it. I'm a big fan of Chris. I know McLovin, he doesn't like hearing that, but, you know, I mean, that's such an incredible character he created. And I just, you know, I just wanted to be there and team up with him. Me and Chris really bonded together because we had this relationship built into the script that I was his protector. Come on, all right, buddy? I'm my little guy.
I'm not your little guy. I was winning, all right?
Oh, no, Chris, you were crying.
It was incredible. I've been a huge fan of John's for many years. He's an actor's actor. Anybody else want to be a supervillain? Promise I pay better than Chuck Little Dick Liddell. Would you call me?
Oh, no, he took a hit to his head, man.
So to work with him was just amazing, and he's so funny and down to earth, and he really, really, really wants to be collaborative.
Hey, Chuck, he doesn't know. I hear that you're like 3 Coke cans lined up like that, man.
Peace. I became a superhero because of Kick-Ass.
Donald Faison, you know, he did a TV show with me a couple years ago, and when we were trying to cast Dr. Gravity, I just kept saying, we gotta find someone like Donald Faison, and finally, I don't know why it took me so long to arrive at this conclusion. I said, well, why don't we just get Donald to do it? And I called him up. He said, dude, you just made my life.
What the fuck?
Pretty cool, huh? This is where the beer gets delivered.
Ah, sweet.
I waited a long time to be able to do something like this. I got into this trying to be the next Harrison Ford, the black Harrison Ford. And somewhere along the way, I was doing comedy.
This is the zero-G device I invented. It can levitate any object up to a ton. For real? Hell no.
I didn't want to be funny. I wanted to walk around with a gun and kill bad guys and stuff like that. And it didn't happen that way. And so now that I'm doing this,
that's not a fair fight!
A lot of producers ask me, are you having a good time? And I'm like, man, I'm living a dream. This is awesome.
Okay. Let's leave the masks on.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I worked with Jeff Wadlow on his first movie, Cry Wolf, 9 years ago. And we've always looked for an opportunity to work together again.
No, we can't leave. We have no money.
Bottle guy, how much do I have on the table?
Oh, there's like 50 grand.
You got plenty now.
Thank you.
I saw the first Kick-Ass movie on opening weekend, and I fucking loved it. I'm definitely a nerd, so the comic book world is not entirely foreign to me. I have a lot of friends who are big nerds too, so I definitely am familiar with the whole comic book universe.
Feel like this, where your feet are down like this. See my feet? See how they're hanging? Look at my feet. So it's more like that, so that when you drop, you can really drop. Action. Olga Kurkulina is a force of nature. You know, she is a real discovery for us. There you go. Cut.
She's impressive. Like, I don't know really what the word is, but I think it's quite bloody impressive.
We always knew the biggest challenge in making this movie would be casting that part. And we did a global search.
Somebody who looked really, really bulky might look great visually, but couldn't move the way we wanted them. We had to have somebody who could almost move like Bruce Lee.
You better get out of here.
Ты не убьешь меня. Ты супергерой. Ты слишком хороший, чтобы убить меня.
Even though she doesn't speak English, you know, she just was so excited to be here and be a part of the movie.
Are you ready to die, little girl? I think I keep you a sad broken toy. I have needs. Needs a little girl can take care of. Кастинг. Запомнится на всю жизнь. Я получила приглашение участвовать в кастинге на Фейсбуке. Мне написали приглашение, но я не очень серьезно отнеслась к этому предложению. Меня месяц уговаривали.
106 Echo, take 5, they only mark.
Leave it to Mother Russia. She makes 10 times what we do.
50,000 a week.
Girl?
Plus expenses.
She just worked as hard, if not harder than anyone else, just constantly training and working on the dialogue and learning the fight and just preparing.
Oh, we should have shot.
She had to do some very difficult stuff, some things she'd never done before. You know, not just difficult things like acting, but, you know, a lot of physical things that she'd never done before.
Then 1, 2, 3, okay?
You know, you think of a bodybuilder and you think, oh, she must be in tremendous shape. But, you know, we put her in these high-heel boots that were just torture to walk around in. And, you know, I made her wear them for 12 hours a day while doing massive fight sequences. And she never once complained.
She had one scene where she was destroying cop cars and shooting people in just like intense moment.
That was awesome! Cut! Cut! That was fantastic! Check the gate on that, it was great! Olga, really good!
And Jeff yelled his, you know, cut! And ran over to Olga and was like, Olga, that was amazing, that was fantastic. And she just gave a little curtsy and was like, thank you. Like, this badass woman just gives this little 12-year-old girl a moment and you're like, that's Olga in a nutshell. She like looks this way, but she's honestly just like a sweet human being in the heart.
Nice party. Anybody want to dance?
Don't just say fine and then shoot me in the chest, because it's not cool.
Okay.
These are the weapons of Kick-Ass 2. We've taken an awful lot of inspiration from what you'd have around the house. Jeff and Russell, our designer, particularly wanted our good guys to sort of go into their garages, their lofts and stuff, and make up weapons from what they had in the house.
Oh my God, my glasses.
Oh, sorry.
So obviously, Hit Girl from the first one, everyone remembers her, quite iconic. She had a double-ended katana blades. We've made them about 15% bigger. Obviously, she's grown, so it's grown. She's got nunchucks, throwing knives, and we've made some custom carbon fibre grips for her pistols, SIG 232s, 7.65mm. We've got a new character in the second film called Colonel Stars and Stripe. We wanted something very interesting, and Russ, our designer, came up with this axe handle painted with some laser engraving on it. Colonel Eagle on the bottom, stars at the other end. Everything we do for weapons-wise in the film, we have to produce soft ones as well. So any action for the stunt guys, so as you can see, this is our real one, this is our soft rubber one, so they can hit each other as much as they want to. No one is going to get hurt.
What's the burning?
Kick-Ass is back, obviously, so Kick-Ass battens, exactly the same as the first film remade. We've also got another character called Dr. Gravity.
I got my lethal zero-G device.
Homemade zero-G bat. Nice and light up, shiny. Another character is our Insect Man. So he's a copper, so we've made some mag-light nightsticks for him. Turn around and made some tasers on the end. Night Bitch. She's got this staff. She's very useful. It spins it around, uses an awful lot. So that's our good guys. Our bad guys, a bit more cynical, a bit more mean.
Oh, those. Man, those are my dad's. I thought she got rid of them.
Chris, motherfucker. We had these made out for us in Canada by a gentleman called Charles Taylor, a very talented armourer out there. They're Power Ordnance 45s, which have been laser engraved with My Way, the highway on them. We've also got another character called Mother Russia. We've made a trench bayonet-style machete for her. The Russian Cyrillic stands for God give and God take away.
Are you ready to die, little girl?
The six stick's probably the best fun weapon in it.
Get ready, guys. Get your tarps on. Get them on.
It's quite simple, really. The hard part is getting the fluid to move and to come out in a shape within such a small zone of the mouth. Obviously, you've got to have CG removal. There's some pipe work to remove. The other thing as well, which Jeff requested for, which makes perfect sense, was the cheek to inflate.
This is gonna be sick.
On action.
Not for long.
Got to give credit to the actors that it goes on too. First they have to wear it, then they have to kind of act with it, then they have to have it with the stuff coming out. And it's a weird feeling, that. It's almost like self-inducing. All of a sudden you feel like you actually really are being sick. So we have to put things like peppermint flavour and stuff in there so it doesn't smell anything other than something minty, you know what I mean? The whole six-stick sequence is brilliant. That's going to be one to be talked about for a long time, I'd say.
Please, you win. I don't want to win. I just want to make the world a better place.
I'm a great believer in letting the actors do as much as they can. So in my mind, when I start planning a stunt, I think, right, okay, I want the actors to do all of it. Because to me, the audience don't pay to see stunt doubles. And the trick with stunt doubles is not to know they're there.
Sometimes if you make it things too safe, then you lose that dynamic, motion. In other words, that's why you tend to use stunt doubles instead of using the real actors, You play it too safe and you lose all the energy. It doesn't look half as convincing, whereas we've got these great guys who throw themselves around left, right and centre.
3, 2, 1, go!
Aaron Johnson, who's a natural athlete and picks things up like that, he's very involved in the character of Kick-Ass, so he knows what Kick-Ass would do and what wouldn't. So with Aaron wants to do everything himself. He's like, I want to do that. And I'm saying, Aaron, you're not seeing it's you. That could be a monkey smoking a pipe. Let's just put a double in for that. It's a hard hit. It's the back of them. You're not seeing it's you. You sprain your ankle, then I've got a lot of paperwork and I don't want to do that. It's the same with Chloe. Chloe's like, I want to do this. I want to do it. Especially with the nunchakas, because we wanted her to learn nunchakas for the alleyway fight.
I was so trained from the first one, it was like second hat, picking up the gun, picking up nunchucks, doing the stunts again. Everything just kind of came in this easy flow. It's like old hat, When I'm here, just start reacting,
Okay. The original script called for swords. On reflection, they felt that wasn't right for that story. And I've been teaching Nunchka for years, so I thought, let's get that in there. We sent them over to her, 2 pairs and a video of the fight, and said, right, start learning. Fair play to her. She pursued it, and she's been, you know, amazing with them, absolutely amazing with them.
Fuck, come on, man, come on.
The work of the production designer and the work of the costume designer has been extraordinary on this. You shouldn't be able to make a film like this for the money that they've made it for, simple as that.
The gym set, man, I almost want like one of those part of my house or something, you know, like.
The design had to be a continuation of the first film. Russell's unique. He's brilliant because no matter what the problem is, he'll solve it. No matter how small the budget it is, he'll push it to get what is needed.
Yeah, he does it on such a big scale too.
So here we are. It's the evil lair. Second day of dressing. As you can see, all the guys are going crazy, setting everything up. The whole thing's based on a man cave. It's Chris's man cave. He hasn't got an arcade game. He's got an arcade. When they get a bit thirsty, they've got a bar. If motherfuckers did bars, this is what they would look like. And then we thought, he's not a particularly athletic person, but we thought a climbing wall. And it's just not a normal climbing wall, it's got great big nipples on it.
I've handled every one of them.
Yeah, he's handled the lot. We can see the shark tank better from this side without the crane in front of it. We've named the shark Margaret, 7-foot bull shark.
He weighs a ton because he's got to sit at the bottom of the tank for most of the scene, as you know. This is where the shark actually attacks him. They're able to get in the water and manoeuvre and with the actor and have it attack him. So you've got the 2 different types here, and then onto CG for the actual close-up stuff of him.
And then this is his stage where he addresses people and his megalomania grows, and he's going to have his great big Napoleonic Caravaggio painting of himself.
It's amazing. Wow.
And the justice was great in a completely different but very similar way. It was all about where would that come from? They haven't got any money. This is their workshop area, and you know, this might have been stuff that was left in this basement. Say it was the basement of an industrial building, or stuff that they've bought cheap, with different sales, or that they've essentially just found or nicked and brought back. Legs there. Is that big enough?
Yeah, that's great, because then you come off of that.
Yeah. Great. Bob's your auntie.
You just walk onto every set and it's jaw-dropping. The details, the things that people will never see. On the Justice Forever set, there's a list by the coffee maker of how each of the members of Justice Forever takes their coffee or tea. I take a green tea, no milk, no sugar.
I think particularly for Russell, he has to create the entire world in order to have the vision for the set. It's all about rooting everything in some sort of reality. And you see it in the costume designers, that all the costume comes from a real place.
The first movie, there's really only 3 or 4 people in costumes, and this one has a couple hundred people in costumes.
Sammy, if you want to do a superhero movie, you need a superhero costume. She's the fucking one you go to, man.
She also understands that it's not just a costume that looks good, it's going to be a costume you can move in and act and do stunts. She's the real deal.
Here we've got some of the masks from the film. This is Chris's motherfucker mask, Dr. Gravity, Genghis Carnage's helmet, Black Death's mask here, the one where he gets his eye poked out. And Kick-Ass is just here. That's a beaten up one there, you see. Kick-Ass. We did some minor adjustments from a comfort point of view, and certain things like, you know, working out the neck so it didn't ride up and stuff, but generally he doesn't change at all as a character, as Kick-Ass, and as Dave, really. This is the Mindy Hit Girl reference here, where we just started looking at, we wanted to move her on a bit from the first look.
It is the same sort of costume, but it's different shoes. I mean, a slightly different wig. It's, you know, different, you know, shoulder pads now, different belt. It's an evolution, but I guess not a fully different outfit.
Flex a little bit, jump around,
The fetish gear, which I was so embarrassed to wear. I was so pissed off when Jeff made me wear that. And I understood it, I'm doing it because it's good for the movie. But it was so embarrassing when how millions of people are gonna see me wearing that.
Henceforth, I'll be known as the motherfucker.
Hands in the air!
They are in the air.
Chris's motherfucker jacket. If you look here, these are all the zips. They all actually do zip up. And these are his trousers with all the buckles down. Josie and the girls, they've done such an amazing job making this.
I love the Battle Guy costume because it is very comic booky, like especially the mask and like the goofy homemade aesthetic of the thing is sort of the charm of the movie. The costume is really uncomfortable, by the way. Like, I want to preface it with that. I was not prepared for how heavy and like disgusting and sweaty it would be. I mean, that thing is just ripe. My last scene in costume was this morning, and that thing is disgusting. They only had one costume and they couldn't clean it because they said it might change color.
With Colonel Stars and Stripes, for instance, Jeff wanted me to be quite faithful to the comic.
Jim, he had this idea, which is very much based on the comic look. And so he employed somebody, David, to just absolutely carry out and completely change his face. 2 layers of teeth as such, both top and bottom, with sort of padding over underneath the gums, so it just made the mouth a much different, a very different shape. It was very clever. He had a false nose piece, false panel across here, and then Jim wanted to feel like he was sort of greying, very greying, and Jim hasn't got a grey hair on his head. It seemed to blend in very well, look very good with the green.
So this is Night Bitch. This is an all-in-one jacket, sleeves and cape, all attached. She has a little bikini to go underneath it. And we got her some nice boots as well here. They're very steampunk.
I'm not really that tired. It's so transformative. And I feel different when I'm in the costume. I do feel like a superhero. You forget about the story and you forget about the drama of being an actor and you go, holy shit, I'm in a movie and I'm a superhero.
I think if it is a great movie, and I'm hopeful that it is, it will have more to do with department heads like Russell and Sammy and Tim than certainly any one individual, because they are all so passionate about what they do and such fantastic collaborators. You can really see it on the screen.
This evil lair owns!
I hope people are as excited about The Evil Lair as I am, because that was a dream come true and a very difficult sequence to stage.
And we are gonna fuck this town up tonight, or my name is not Chris D'Amico! That is not my name!
You're right. Your new name's Little Bitch.
We cannot compete with the Transformers, Star Trek, Star Wars, Harry Potter. You know, we haven't. You know, we're tiny. We're like the catering budget of those films. So you have to compete with them by doing things they can't do: violence, swearing, edgy comedy. Anything that they can't do, we will do to try and pop.
There's 2 of you and a whole army of us. You really have such a hard on to die?
No. That's why we brought our friends. It was really nice because it was kind of like this kind of family, you know, and everyone was there, Chris, Aaron, me, everyone was there in the same room. That was the main moment when I was like, oh my God, you know, I'm really doing Kick-Ass 2.
Get your hands off me, homo!
Make me shit waffle.
Evil Air is beautiful. I feel like I didn't get enough time to really soak it in, because once we got in there, it was just 50 supervillains and 50 superheroes and all these cameramen and Jeff screaming, and it was like so much going on that it was really a lot to kind of take in how beautiful it was.
Well, what are you waiting for? Take him down!
We broke down the fights, who had to be there first of all, and then we rehearsed a few. We videoed them, showed them to Jeff, he loved them, got them to the set, and then with the extras, I had them for 2 days training, and literally we had 3 fights of different degrees of difficulty for people who are more able and the ones that were less able, because we wanted a real mix. Not everyone was going to be a superhero fighter. It was incredible. We had like 150 people fighting at once in there, and week in, week out for 2 weeks. It was good.
How you like that, Marilyn Manson?
Nice and so 1999.
We shot that for 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks to shoot that scene. You know, gets a little exhausting. But I mean, I don't want to complain at all, because like Chloe and Mother Russia, I mean, I don't know how Olga was still standing by the end of that, because there is no double for her. I mean, she's a unique specimen.
We broke it again.
And action.
Olga, she's never done any fighting before. She's never done anything on screen before.
Got it, great.
We had to really get her in some sort of physical shape, and she was already fit anyway, but we got her really ripped. We got her moving, better than she'd ever moved before.
The first film, in the first one I had to do like 5 or 6 months of training because I was an 11-year-old kid. On this film, I run regularly and I work out regularly, so jumping into stunts was like a piece of cake for me.
Pete, go to Olga, Pete, go to Olga. And action.
К бою я готовилась очень серьезно, потому что я понимаю, что это большой бой, что его действительно все ждут. Я знаю даже это по русским сайтам от фанатов Хлои. Его ждут действительно.
That was good. No, that was good. She lifted me off my feet. I was like, oh. That was quite good. That was funny. It's funny working with Olga because she's one of the sweetest women you'll ever meet, and she's just not at all, doesn't have like a bad bone in her body. Like, she didn't even know how to punch someone. She was like, how do I do it?
She didn't know how to throw a punch. They had to teach her how to like tuck her like thumb in or whatnot, so she didn't hurt herself when she was throwing punches. It's incredible.
Settle and background action. Action.
Krav Maga.
God!
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, good.
Okay.
T and I are super close. She's like my sister. We've worked together now for about 4 years. Anything that involves a stunt, I always try and get T to help me do it. A lot of actors, they are like, no, I don't like stunt doubles. No, I like to do all my own stunts, no matter what. And what I realized was, I like to do my own stunts. I like to do about 60-70% of my own stunts, as much as I can get in. But at the end of the day, a stunt person is hired to make you look cooler. The stuff that you can't do, they tell that story for you, and they make that happen for you.
3, 2, 1.
Action team.
the evil air table. That's the biggest thing that the breakaway company we normally use could fit in their oven. It's in 2 sections, and many sections involved in that, and a lot of precariously sort of balanced pieces of fragile glass.
I would actually say that the hardest part about working with Olga was that she's not a trained actress, so often her genuine personality would bubble up in a take, and she's very sweet and just a gentle soul, and I would have to say, cut. I'd be like, Olga, look at me, you're a killer.
More. Look, more. This is your face. Look, this is your face right now. Right? This is my face. Thank you. Give me more, okay?
You can't smile. I know you're worried about Chloe. I know you're worried about T, Chloe's stunt double, but you gotta look like you want to kill her. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to do it again. So I need to see it. And she's like, And she, I'd do that, give her the look, and she'd give it back to me.
Ah, there we go. No smiling. No smiling.
There's a sort of thing between, special effects, digital effects, all of us to try and work out how to hold these pieces of glass. And very cleverly, the glass shards had little magnets at the bottom. And in the skin pieces and the prosthetics which were built for us, there was also a little magnet so that it could hold. However much glue you've got, it just can't hold that strong. We couldn't put too much blood on because that's all often done digitally. So we have sort of limitations on our blood, which is something we always have to watch.
Ty mnie sprawiłaś, kiedy Ciebie imię już ze всех сторон.
God! Background action. Action.
The big fight scene at the end when Aaron and Chris are fighting, I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know about how even this fight is right now. The big thing where they're like running up the stairs, Aaron's like jumping over shit and like karate kicking people. I was like, man, he looks legitimately like he's doing this stuff. Like not to like bash Chris, but Aaron's gigantic now. Like he's in like incredible shape for this movie.
No! God!
I realized after this week I'm super sore right now and super out of shape that next time I do an action movie, I really have to spend time getting in shape because they had no time to teach me the fights, and I had no time to learn it. They taught me to fight literally the morning we shot the fight, so it was kind of intense. Which is hard, as you can hear on my voice and my body. So next time I do an action movie, I have to have like a few months training to get into it.
Keep going. It's an interesting scene, it's intense, and Chris is just brilliant. I think he's showing a whole other light and colour in his work.
What the hell are you doing? Saving your whiny ass! No! I won't let you have it! I'd rather die!
It's really interesting that Dave saves Chris in that moment, and that Chris doesn't want to be saved.
Take out. Now I'm ending it.
Yeah.
I'll be immortal like an evil tease. You gotta let him slip.
Yeah.
Right? And then let him go. We've seen some sort of action.
Yeah, of course.
All right, let's try one. Here we go.
Aaron said to me, he said, why do I save him? And I said, well, I think the same reason Kick-Ass doesn't walk around with shotguns instead of batons.
I'll be immortal like an evil Jesus.
3, 2, 1, action!
Holy shit! I'm alive! Dave!
The shark tank scene, it was intense. I was very excited at first. The water was warm, so it was kind of like being in a jacuzzi for a little bit. But after a while, the suit it got filled with water, it stuck to your body. I literally had to stand on an apple box in between every take because it was like 20 pounds of leather just pulling you down.
You're right, man! I do want to live!
And there was a fake shark underneath, which in your peripheral, it just looked like a shark was coming at you. It was frightening.
I'm gonna spend the rest of my life making this right, Dave. I promise.
When the shark comes alive, the stunt guys were cabling him off, and they could move him all the way around the tank and then bring him down. There's a halfback of shark which follows Chris under the water.
And action!
I think it's gonna look amazing. You know, I was tired, but it was all really worth it.
You good, sir? Yes, 12. 3, 2, 1, left!
I don't know why they don't kill me off. Mark Miller and Jeff and Matthew Vaughn, they all want me around if there's a third one.
I feel incredibly fortunate. You know, I feel very, very lucky and blessed to be in this situation, to be surrounded by people who care so much about the story we're telling.
Technically, that's the last shot for me. Chloe Millet.
I feel like I've had to push and grow and change, and I just am incredibly happy with what we've accomplished, and really just have such a love for the cast and all that they've invested in this, and just really just pleased with the product and pleased with all that we've been able to accomplish.
Justice forever!
Game on, cocksuckers!
There's a girl on the roof! She's still up there! I think I got her! Go check! Get out there!
Pull over, puke face.